Happy Wednesday. Whoa. How the heck are you guys?
Hey there.
My fellow Aurora PPG girls.
Yeah. How are you?
My internet's lagging again.
Oh,
it happens. We're taking turns doing it.
Yeah, it's not you, it's me. So, all right. So 50 degrees here today. I walked out of work. Well, I hobbled out of work today, and it was wonderful. Instead of doing parking lot duty in my car, I used my crutches and went and stood by a tree and watched the kids leave and made sure that they were behaving. And it was actually nice without a jacket. So
that's good.
Yeah.
unlike you guys who probably were wearing winter coats at 50 degrees.
Not me. No.
Did you even go outside?
Well, I did sneak outside for just a second. I had to get the VIN number off the truck, but that was it. And it was cold.
Oh, good Lord.
I did want to say hi to all the chatters out there. I'm having a problem with my phone. It keeps wanting to go to the queue, so every time I do, I can't chat. So, hi chatters.
We told her we don't know what the queue is.
Well, it's if I go to the queue, then I can't. It's on my phone. It wants to play all the. It's got something to do with YouTube, so I don't know. I can't chat.
Oh.
So.
All right. Well, just chat here then.
Yeah. Well, if I do, it puts your name in there.
So, G, how have you been?
Good. Yeah, it's getting warmer here. This morning it was actually, I think, like in the high 40s, and then throughout the day it warmed up. Maybe low 70s today. It was nice. It's like it's starting to feel like Florida again.
Lucky.
Oh yeah.
All right. So tonight, G, you found this father-daughter duo.
Yes, I met them.
Except they're not together, and that picture is deceiving of the two, because KaLeigh is like a lot older than that picture that there was, because she's shorter than Dad in there, but I guess I don't know how tall Dad is, and I don't know how tall KaLeigh is, but I think she's a lot older now. And she's somewhere that I think you guys will be wanting to ask some questions about also. So looking forward to hearing both their stories. So welcome, KaLeigh and Jerry.
Hi.
Hello, you two.
Hi.
We're so glad to have you guys.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, it's good to see you.
Jerry, where are you?
I am in St. Petersburg, Florida.
Okay. And KaLeigh, where are you?
I'm in Salton Sea, California.
Woohoo!
Yeah.
First thing I asked her was, does it smell there? She said no.
Not right now.
Not right now, yep.
That's a good thing.
Is it dusty, grimy?
No, it's actually been really great weather. It was overcast today, so got to fly throughout the day.
Okay, and you just got down, right?
Yeah.
A few minutes ago.
Mm-hmm.
Very nice. Well, thanks for coming out of the sky and hanging out with us tonight.
Of course.
So, all right, who wants to go first? I'll let G or Wheezy go first. Oh,
well, yeah, I'd love to get some of the backstory.
There's a question already.
Oh wow!
Look at her.
Yeah.
And why? And why was the question.
Why? Not who, but why?
Boys are bad.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm frozen.
Yeah, you are.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay.
You shocked Dad froze because
I see. I'm
boyfriend.
frozen solid now.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Sorry, G.
Go ahead, G.
So the backstory. What got you into this? how long ago,
Who are
and
you
why.
asking?
Apparently, why is the key question today.
Which one are you asking?
I don't know. Is Jerry still frozen? Maybe we can start with Jerry. If
Am I frozen? Can you hear me? Should I
I
log
can
out and log
hear
in?
you.
Try logging out and coming back in. Maybe Elsa got him.
All right, let's see.
and in the meantime, KaLeigh, would you like to share with us your story?
Yeah. Well, my father got me into it, and I guess I was. It was about probably how long ago, Dad? 6 years that you started flying, maybe.
I started flying about 6 years ago, and
Yep.
you initially started probably 3 years ago.
Okay.
But
So
I remember. Well, yeah, like I was in college, and all of a sudden my dad like messages us, and he's like, "I'm learning how to fly," like, and it was YouTube that got him, and then about 3 years ago. He's like, "You really have to try this." So he got his friend to take me up on a tandem flight. And, I was in the trike tandem, taking all the pictures. I'm like, this is so cool. Like, yeah, this is so fun. And about a week later, my dad's like, come in the garage. I have something to show you. And I walk in, and there's a Adam 80. And I'm like, I guess I'm learning how to fly. So we've been fly buddies since then. I've been flying for 2 years, I would say. I got everything 3 years ago, but in the initial parts of training, I saw somebody take a really, really bad crash where they had to be airlifted out. And so that kind of put me in a place where I'm like, do I really want to learn how to do this? And then kind of flash forward a year, I felt like I was kind of stuck in life, and I just needed something to kind of empower me. And so I decided to take another stab at it, and I've been in love with the skies ever since, and it gives me and my father something to do together, and all the other families to be jealous about because we get to do this cool stuff. And
So why does that picture look like you're 12 years old?
I got the young face. Yeah.
So how old are you?
I'm 24.
24? Okay.
Yeah, I'm 24 years old.
So where did you learn to fly? Did he teach you, or did you go to school?
No,
I'm back.
I learned from the guy who gave me a tandem, who's located in Wesley Chapel. He
There's London.
London Ivy. He
London and Ernie.
helped get me.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Okay.
what about you, Jerry? Who did you train with?
So I trained with Lauren and Shannon Michaels, and they no longer teach. They were excellent. And I was in the same class as our mutual friend Dave Garber. We actually trained together.
Yes.
So my joke is every time I see him, I tell him that he learned everything he knows from me, because that's not true. He's an excellent pilot.
He's an incredible pilot.
He is. We actually trained together, and we've been friends ever since. So
He's a very good guy too.
he's a great guy. And then I started. There's not a lot of places to fly in St. Petersburg, so I met up with London, and I started flying with that whole group of guys, bunch of great guys up in Wesley Chapel, and London, Ernie, everybody. And I think KaLeigh told you, I think I was fiddling with the computer, but I got London to take her up on a tandem, and she really enjoyed it. And so then he took her up on another one. And then I think Shannon was selling all of her equipment. So I bought Shannon Michaels' old paramotor, and I stuck it in the garage for KaLeigh. I was like, hey, come see this. And she came out and there was a paramotor for her. So she's like, I guess I'm learning to fly. So
Very cool.
That's a really cool story. So what was training like? Let's start with you, KaLeigh. Training with London IB. What are the stages of training? How what are the different things that you've done throughout your course and so on?
Well, a lot in the beginning was learning kite control, because it's the hardest part about flying is usually the takeoff and the landing, and knowing how to kite well makes you the best pilot you can be. So it started with kiting. We did a lot of toes just to get the feel for the sky, and after toes, and just a good set of like learning ground school and everything, then we went for the first flight. I guess before the kiting too, taking the tandem up just to see what it's like in the sky. So that was about the basics of what the training process was. I was also in college at the time in my undergrad, so really it was finding the good weekends where I didn't have class or work and trying to squeeze in the mornings when it's good air to try and fly in, and just try and keep consistent when you have the good weather.
How often did you go out to fly?
In
When
the
you first
beginning, it
started?
was really just the weekends, like trying to get the Saturdays and Sundays in, because I was living on campus and doing school full time and also working, so it's kind of hard to squeeze it in during the week. But also that kind of makes it hard, just trying every weekend, and then you're at the point where it's like, well, it might not be good weather, and then next thing you know, you haven't like flown in a month. And I think in the beginning it's really good to be on top of things and just try to do what you can, whether it's, if you can't fly, try and kite, and if you can fly, try and fly. And also in between, just keep up on knowing the rules and everything too.
Do you have any siblings?
I have a brother.
Is he interested in flying
You would
at all?
never.
no.
Nope.
No.
No interest at all.
Is he older or younger?
He's older. He's about 2 years older than me.
Is he the musician?
He is.
Yeah.
Cool.
And he's a great kid. And he lives across the street from us. He bought the house across the street. And, he stands up in front of 100 to 1,000 people. And that's scarier than flying to me. So good for him.
I agree.
But we kind of missed a spot in there in KaLeigh's training, which was kind of, I don't know, like we were talking before the show. I think KaLeigh flew one time. She had one flight under her belt, and we were out in one of our LZs one morning, and we were all flying. There was a big group of us, and there were some YouTubers there. And we had a buddy. He was kind of showing off, and he was doing barrel rolls too close to the ground. And one of his barrel rolls, he ended up going into the ground. And it was really pretty ugly. And they came in with the helicopter and life flighted him out. And it was terrible. I mean, he's alive, thankfully, and he can walk again. And it took him about a year. But it also, KaLeigh had just started flying, and she was still, it was still new. You know how it is. And I don't think she flew. For a year.
Yeah.
I mean, it was hard, because she saw that we were all there. We were right there, and it was not good. So yeah, that was a setback.
Have you
I tried to do a
had any
tandem
other
in
ones?
between them. Any other setbacks?
Yeah.
I recently last year now, one of somebody who's pretty influential in my, just because early on too, it's if you don't have a lot of confidence in everything, and people kind of, I think in the sport, some people will beat you down and others will build you up, and if you're doing things wrong, sometimes it can, unmotivate you, and you're like, I'm never going to be good at this. And I had one person, I'd always like kind of tell me I'm a good pilot, and that was like really helpful. And we flew with him, and going to the fly-in is usually like our fly-in buddy, Matthew Bell, and he recently passed in April last year from a paramotor incident, and that was really hard. But I kind of, me and my father both, kind of sat down after that, and we're like, we can either keep doing this or we can stop, and we both decided to keep doing it, and we flew, I think the next day after that, but
we flew the next day. I asked her if she wanted to keep
yeah,
flying, and we flew the next day.
and I think that's kind of another reason why I want to be the best pilot I can be, because he always told me, that I was a good pilot. I have his wing that I fly around, just kind of to keep his flying alive. So that was another hard one to process. But I think, doing this sport, you're gonna see hard things, and all you can do is just try to be better and make smarter decisions.
Right. And like Lift Paramotor says, processing the traumatic experience isn't a setback, it's an opportunity for growth. And
Yeah,
like we talked
definitely.
about is, talking about this, to other people, maybe that'll help all of us understand the sport a lot better.
Yeah, just learn
So,
from it and move on.
Yeah.
um, before I lose the spot, Jerry,
Yes,
Michael Zook says,
Michael
"Hey
is
Jerry,
he's my tandem buddy.
oh, you wanted to know if you still remembered him."
I still remember you, Michael. I would type if I knew how to do it over here. I'm logged into KaLeigh's YouTube, so
KaLeigh's laughing at Dad.
I got the hat and the shirt though, Michael. Thank you much.
So, how much flying have you done out there, KaLeigh, out in Salton Sea?
I got about I guess 3 hours in, because I just checked on my paramotor because I have some maintenance coming up. But about 3 hours. We got here yesterday at 4, so we flew the night, and then we flew this morning, and then we flew kind of in the middle because it's been nice overcast here, and it was smooth. And then I just got done with my last flight here.
Good.
So I flew about 4 times here, and then we're gonna head out in the morning
Oh,
before
good.
all the craziness happens.
You said you were going to get bread, and then all of a sudden you're in California. Are you at least bringing the bread home to me?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm waiting for my sandwich.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So
So,
KaLeigh, when I met you in Okeechobee a few weeks ago, a couple months ago, you were flying trike,
Yeah.
right? Are you still flying
Yeah, it's
trike?
no, I prefer foot launch. I love foot launching. But I remember we were going to the fly-in and planning it out and everything. And I think about the weekend before, I was doing a Spartan race. So I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do something for myself. Like, I can do this. So I signed up for that. And I did the Spartan race, and I finished it, but I was doing the rope climb obstacle, and I found out very quickly I don't know how to climb a rope very well because I fell and I sprained my ankle. And so then I called my dad, who was not home at the time, and I was like, I might have, messed myself up. But I guess we had the Pat mini trike. That was something that my father bought off of Shannon
Shannon.
Michaels, and so we got there, and it's like, oh, I guess I'm learning how to trike because I want to be in the skies. So I learned how to fly the mini trike while I was there.
But that's good.
While you were at the fly-in, so that was literally you had just learned.
Yeah.
That is
I had
so
my
cool.
father and our friend Robbie help me. Yeah.
So what was that like? People usually make a big deal out of, the transition from foot launch to trike, and they have a lot of questions. What was it like for you?
Terrifying.
Oh boy, Dad's laughing
Both
now.
of us.
It was terrifying just because you have this big hunk of metal, and some things just changed with the setup and everything, and but I think it's very doable. I'm happy that I had patient people with me to help me, but I think it's doable. Yeah, but I still love foot launching.
It did not look like it was your first time flying that trike, by the way.
What's
You
that?
you looked like you knew what you were doing.
Oh, thank you. Just
So
determined.
there's a saying when I was growing up, and I'm here with 4 women, be careful, but there was always a saying, you don't want to teach your wife or your girlfriend how to drive a stick shift. And I never wanted to teach KaLeigh how to fly paramotor because, it's difficult because there's emotions involved and she yells at me. And that's why I didn't teach her how to fly, that's why, but she was very good. She was very determined to fly trike, and our buddy Robbie, who's very good at trike, was there to help. And my first trike experience was pretty bad, but then I went and, got some trike training with, Travis, Allie, and Kyle over at One Up, and they taught me how to be patient. And so that's what we kept telling KaLeigh is you got to be patient with trike and not just try to rush it. As you guys know, because, a lot of our friends get on the trike and they just want to get off the ground as fast as they can. And that's when things get broken,
Well,
Yeah, that's true.
patience and just the sport in general.
True. Very true.
Yeah. Yep.
So what was it like doing the tandem training with them? What were the steps with you transitioning from foot launch, or not necessarily transitioning, but like with foot launch experience? What was it like?
I was flying both trike and foot launch. I'm old. When when there's no wind and there's wet grass, I have no problem getting the trike out and flying that. But I went to One Up and I couldn't say enough good things about their training. It was wonderful. I was there with Michael, who's on here, I think, and basically with me, they just had to beat it into my head to be patient. And, they made me I think they made me taxi the entire runway at Lake Wales with the wing over my head before I was allowed to take off. And then, it was pretty quick. And then one day, I think Allie and I flew Allie around. I think I probably did 20, 25 touch and goes, and I talked her ear off, the poor girl. So, but it was great. It was well worth it. So you can always learn, no matter how long you've been doing this, right? You can always learn from people. and I've sent KaLeigh over to work with Kyle on, learning how to foot drag or learning how to do wingovers. And they have the same weird sense of humor, so they get along really well.
Gee, what were you going to ask?
Yeah, they're also very people. I was gonna say that Allie did mention to me one time that she doesn't let trike students fly until they can taxi the entire length of the field. So so I heard that from her, and it's good to see, to hear it from someone else. It's definitely, I mean, it's a very important skill to be able to control that wing and be very patient, get it under control before you take off. So it's very critical to learn that. It's good to see that they do that.
Yeah, it was great. They were great, very patient.
Luis, you get anything?
Yeah, I know. I noticed that Jerry has some other hobbies. Tell us about some of those things you do.
Oh, geez. Well, KaLeigh and I are both scuba divers, and we like to dive down in Venice for shark's teeth. I don't know. What else did you see? I like to do everything.
Hiking, rock climbing.
So KaLeigh and I both hike. We just got back from Zion and Bryce Canyon. We went there. When did we go? October?
October, yeah.
Yeah. And if you're hiking with KaLeigh, she pretty much picks the hardest trail on the map and says, "This is what we're doing." And she's tried to kill me a few times. I haven't been out west a lot, and I had no idea how dry it is out there. I'm eating tubes of chapstick because my lips are just. I've been in Florida for 30 years. It's crazy. 12-mile hike with KaLeigh is nothing. I'm dying, and she's running up the hill. And we're both go to the rock gym. She goes every day. I go every other day.
Wow.
What else do we do, KaLeigh?
Rollerblading.
Woodworking.
Yes.
Rollerblading. Yeah.
We rollerblade every day.
Trying to keep you alive.
Yeah, you're gonna kill me in the meantime.
It's keeping your heart healthy.
Yeah.
So KaLeigh, you went to college, right?
Mm-hmm.
What did you graduate? What degree or?
I graduated in 21 from USF. I have a degree in civil engineering.
Cool.
I'm about halfway through my master's at USF in environmental engineering. I'm taking a break off this semester just to work and travel a bit. I work in a lab for a engineering firm doing construction materials testing, but I recently took up a woodworking apprenticeship, so I've been building furniture. So yeah,
Now,
not so much civil engineering, but
your dad and I were chatting the other night, and he said you built something for work.
Oh yeah, your CNC machine.
oh yeah, I built a larger CNC machine so that I can make carvings or furniture. Or recently I learned how to cut aluminum, so I made myself a prop spacer for my paramotor.
Nice.
So that's one other.
She's handy to have around.
Fun hobby. Yeah.
So is that kind of the line of work you did, Jerry, or?
Oh. Yeah, I was a geologist, or I was supposed to be a geologist.
Okay.
And actually, I started out as an engineer, but back in the 80s, I saw the geologists having more fun in college and they drink more beer. And I don't know, I became a geologist, and I did that for a while. I did sinkhole surveys, and stuff around here. But then I was very lucky. My wife was doing a residency, and I was traveling a lot, and I couldn't travel anymore. So I get to stay home and raise the kids. So I've been a full-time dad for, I don't know, their whole life. So
Nice.
my wife would like me to go back to work now, but I keep telling her I'm too old and grumpy and nobody's going to hire me. So one of these days she might make me. I don't know. I keep trying to find things to do.
Just be the
That's all
trophy
right.
husband.
I'm the trophy husband. That's
Are you
me.
taking her up on a tandem?
There's no way she would not do that.
All right.
She's yeah, she and my son are, they like the cruise with the cucumbers on the eyes kind of thing, and they're not into,
No adventure.
Yeah, no.
not too much.
Luis, did you have any others?
Well, so where is your dream adventure?
Oh, KaLeigh?
Well, my dream adventure. I mean, I would love to fly the paramotor in the tulip fields of Netherlands. That's one.
Me too.
Sweet.
Sounds fun.
That would be
We'll take
amazing.
Washington State, if anything.
Yeah, that would be fun. I mean, I'm kind of living out the dream adventure right now and flying out west. That was definitely something I've been wanting to do. I came out to Utah in October, but I unfortunately didn't get to fly, so I kind of had to come out now and make it up and fly out west. And yeah, it's I don't know. I think all these are my dream adventures. I don't know if I have one in particular,
Yeah.
but I know my father does.
I don't know.
Driving to the Arctic Circle.
I'm driving to the Arctic Circle this summer.
Oh, that's very cool.
Yeah. I'm just happy to be alive. I mean, I've been to some pretty neat places. I love Iceland, but I don't know if I want to fly there. It's really cold, and I'm kind of a Florida boy now.
Mm-hmm.
But I do want to drive to the Arctic Circle. I would like to hike quite a bit of the Appalachian Trail with KaLeigh. We've been talking about that for a while. I don't know if we'll do the whole thing, but she can do it. I'd probably be stuck with like 10 days before my wife will want me back. But I'd like to do that part of that this summer. As far as flying, I'm just glad I get to fly anywhere. I loved our friend Matthew Bell. We used to fly the beach with him. That was wonderful.
Lift Paramotor's got a question for KaLeigh or Jerry. What's the longest flight you've ever done? Any cross countries or adventures?
The
We did-
Plant City flight.
Yeah, we did Plant City. Wesley Chapel to Plant City and back. That was pretty far. 60 miles.
Okay.
Some of those beach
Probably the
flights
longest.
were pretty long.
Yeah, I think we usually do around like an hour and a half of flying every time we fly. But yeah, when we'd go down and fly around Port Charlotte, we'd fly down and along the beach and back. We flew Fort Myers Beach right after the hurricane.
That was wild.
About a 2-hour flight. I think probably 2.5 hours is the longest flight we've done. So
She's got that Adam 80. She can fly forever.
Yeah.
So, what are your next adventures? Each of you have a next that you want to do?
I want to learn how to ski. So trying to learn how to ski, so might go somewhere for that.
Like snow ski, water ski,
Snow
snow
skiing.
ski? Well, you can come to Wisconsin. We'll take you.
Nice.
Except we don't have snow right now.
Have either one of you done an SIV?
No.
No,
Have you guys?
no.
No.
I haven't.
I would like to. I think KaLeigh should do that.
I'm starting to get into more spicier wingovers, and I don't think I'm quite at the point yet where I see myself doing any crazy acro, but I also think in the future that I might want to just try something and also just do an SIV just to know better preparation for if you get in any of those situations, you know, how to deploy reserve properly and all that. I just think the more knowledge you have under your belt and experience, you can't really complain about that. But also,
Can't stop learning. The more you know, right?
yeah, but also just kind of doing it, not rushing into anything. 'Cause again, I think patience in this sport is everything. Because I see a lot of people who just rushed into this, where you know they might not even be able to have a decent takeoff yet or landing, and then they're already trying to do like sats and barrel rolls, and I just I think trying to rush too quickly and letting your ego kind of get ahead of you can get you in a dangerous position, as I saw very early on with someone.
Definitely. I tried my own SIV and I botched that up.
Bill H wants to know if you're intend on going into any FlyIns.
I think
We'll be
our
going to Bad
the next
Apples.
one, Bad Apples, yeah.
Bad Apples?
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
I'll see
We
you
go to
there.
Okeechobee. I'm not going this weekend, but just about every time they have a thing at Okeechobee, we go down there. Those guys are great.
Is that Sunnyland? Is that it?
Sunnyland.
Yeah, Sunnyland.
Our friend Luis always puts that on, and you know, one time we went down there, KaLeigh and I. It was one of the first times we went. It was kind of rainy, and all our friends left. And Luis kind of took us under his belt and brought us in with all his Latino friends, and we don't speak any Spanish, but they treated us like family, and they couldn't be nicer to us down there. So,
Well, that's awesome.
you know, we go down there whenever we can.
What about Sun and Fun?
I'll be at Sun and Fun for sure for a day. I don't know if KaLeigh's got the time off, but I'll go hang out with. I think London's got a booth there this year, and Gorilla always has a booth there, and so we'll hang out with those guys.
Okay.
You'll have to go by the Aurora PPG booth.
You guys will be there.
A little plug there.
There'll be
Okay.
some of the girls there. G will be there, I think, and
Yes.
Wendy Weaver will be there.
Mhm.
Excellent.
My husband wants
Oops, I'm sorry. I clicked.
to know if you have any interest in general aviation.
Yes, but also the cost probably, I don't know, seems expensive.
A lot of times it depends on if you can network with instructors and work with them. Just see what you can do.
I've always wanted to fly, so I think it's in the bio you have there. My dad was an Air Force pilot, and he was a fighter pilot, so I was always fascinated with airplanes. I've always wanted to fly, but I found paramotor, and I was like, this is perfect. I would still love to fly. I'd love to see KaLeigh fly. I have a cousin, and she is a test pilot for Boeing. She flies the new planes off the strip and shakes them down and delivers them. And she's awesome. Yeah, let's fly,
So-
KaLeigh. Let's put it on the bucket list.
Can you go a little bit further with your dad in his stories?
My dad Joined the service, I guess during the war, Vietnam War, and he became a fighter pilot, and he was on his third tour of duty, and he got shot down. So he spent 7 years in prison in Vietnam, and he came home when I was 8 in 1973. So
Wow.
he came home, and it was an interesting story because he didn't have a college degree. And so the Air Force wouldn't let him fly again until he got a college degree. So I moved from Maine to Montgomery, Alabama, so he could go to school. And he got a degree in psychology. And I don't know why that helped him fly, but then they put him in transport. So he flew 141s out of New Jersey, where I kind of grew up. And then he flew corporate pilot. When he retired, he flew for Citibank. And he flew until he retired.
Wow.
And he's still with us. He's still a tough old man. And
Does he talk about, had he talked much about when he was a prisoner at all?
ooh, it wasn't something we brought up a lot, and it would be more like if I was a kid and I didn't want to eat my dinner, and he's like, "You're gonna eat that." I had to eat this, and he basically got the leftovers of the animal that everyone else ate,
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't really something we talked a lot about,
Okay.
Good guy, tough guy. I told him what I was doing, flying paramotors, and he just looked at me and he shook his head and he said, "Suicidal, son, suicidal." But now he's kind of accepted it, and I was sending him pictures tonight of KaLeigh out in Salton Sea. So he wanted to make sure that she was being a smart pilot, and I said she was.
Yeah. Well, thank him for his service.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. And Ed Brinkman also says the same thing.
Well,
Much
thank you, Ed.
appreciated.
So,
So, gee, got any more questions?
Yeah, I wanted to go back to the gear that you fly. So KaLeigh's flying an Atom 80. What frame and what wing?
I fly a PAP Atom 80. My go-to wing is a Nivea Clink 2. It's a 21-meter wing. It's my baby. I love that wing. I have a BGD Luna 2 that I fly, and Matthew's wing is an APCO F3 that I've flown. Those are kind of my main array of wings that I have.
What about you, Jerry?
we're kind of a PAP family. When I first started, I was told I had to buy this super awesome ultralight unit that everybody had, and it wasn't that great. And then Lauren, I said, "What are you flying?" He's like, "I fly a PAP." So I started flying a PAP, and it was like moving to a Cadillac for me. So I've been flying the PAP ever since, and I have a Moster, and now I got the PAP. I had the small PAP trike I got from Shannon, but then when I started doing tandems, I got the big PAP trike and the PAP tandem set up. But mostly I just fly, foot lunch. And I too have Matthew Bell and I both had APCO F3s. Those were our go-to wings. And then I had a cubic for a long time, and I liked that. And I have just a backup wing as a Gravity Exceed. It's an inexpensive wing out there that not too many people sell, but it's an awesome little wing.
I remember we had this conversation at the fly-in, and you, when I shared some of my struggles with the
Yes.
with forward inflations and low end, You mentioned that there was a wing that you like when you finally had that experience of just like walking through the inflation rather than having to like put that much effort into like running the initial inflation. And I was trying to remember which wing that was.
Yeah, so that APCO F3 is a super light wing,
Okay.
and you really can just walk right into it, and it comes right up over your head, and I love it.
Yeah, that sounds amazing.
Yeah, it's a wonderful wing. You should try mine or KaLeigh's one of these days, and it's pretty sporty. It's an interesting wing. It's got the tip steering tied in, but it also has tip steer toggles. So it's kind of cool, you know. It's got both. So
Yeah.
How
So
do you
so
like
what
that?
makes
Sorry.
so I was going to ask what makes it so easy to inflate? Is it the fabric or like something about the design?
I think that F3 is designed as it's an intermediate wing. It's certainly, I mean, Dave Garber, of course, took it up and did sats and barrel rolls and everything, but it's really just designed as a nice, fast, intermediate wing. So I don't think I think the design helps it, and also the lightweight fabric helps it just come up really easy. It's definitely the easiest wing I have to inflate. The gravity's pretty easy. KaLeigh's little link is really easy. That's a great wing. She went through a lot of wings before we got her. You know, and that's the other thing when you get into this activity. You know, there's a lot of guys out there that want to sell stuff, and you know, you can end up getting something that's not right because people want to, you know, just sell what they have. You know. So I asked Shannon after they had gotten out of the sport, and she suggested I get the link because she had already gone through a Daytona and something else you had done, and neither one of them were great beginner wings that were sold as beginner wings to us. But that link, when she got that, it was night and day. It was a wonderful wing, don't you think, KaLeigh?
Yeah, I love it's the Nibiuk. It's nice and floaty and stable, and it can be, let the trimmers out. It can be fast and keep up, and I wing overs on it fine. And again, of course, Dave Garber took it up, and he was doing sats on it too. So I think it's a great wing.
Yeah. Sometimes those stable wings are actually the ones you would want to use for some of those maneuvers because they're stable, they recover well, they're safer to do those things on.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
well, thanks for the refresher. I have been trying to remember which wing that was, but yeah, that's very cool.
So do either one of you plan to do acro at all? Or I know KaLeigh probably a little bit, not a whole lot maybe?
I definitely think in the future, when I'm about 2 years of good consistent flying right now. I'm still kind of building that confidence up, especially when I went to Kyle. It went up, helped build my confidence. So I just think when I feel comfortable enough, I definitely think I will advance to learning some of those maneuvers. I don't quite think I'm there yet, but I do see it in the future.
All right.
And I'll definitely be investing back into sending her to somebody like Kyle or somebody, that's better than we are, because you want to learn from people that are better than you, right? Because that's it, you can go to a fly-in and a lot of people will tell you how to do stuff, but I guess the proof's in the pudding. You want to go to a guy that does acro to learn acro, right?
Definitely.
Right.
Bill H is asking, what size wing do you have, KaLeigh?
The link, it's a 21 meter.
21.
It's the smallest link they make.
And what about you again, Jerry?
What wings do I have?
No, what size?
The APCO is a 23. That's the smallest APCO F3 they make. That's the same as KaLeigh's, and I have a 20 Gravity Exceed.
Okay.
And that's a great wing. It's a European wing that Gravity Paramotor brought over, and they only brought over 2 sizes in one color, green. But there's probably about 10 of us in our flying group that have that wing. I think it's $2,200 brand new, and which is a great deal.
That's amazing.
And last I looked, they had a few on their website. But yeah, we all fly them. They're great wings, and they're just a great price. So it's a sporty wing. It's a little sportier than my APCO. So when I want to just fly around and do heavier wing overs and stuff, that's what we'll fly.
All right.
Have you guys had anything scary happen while you were flying?
I think what I was doing a spiral one time, and I did kind of start to get that tunnel vision, and I said, "Oh, that's a little too much," and I went in and landed. But other than that, we flew to Okeechobee one time, and it was
that was
going
crazy.
back from the lake into a really strong headwind, and it was so bumpy, and no matter how high or low you went, it was bumpy, and taking collapses, just trying to get back to the LZ, but we lived, and so it's not the most enjoyable cross-country flight, but other than that, nothing too scary.
All right.
I think when I first started, there was a fly-in from Gorilla's place in Florida from Wauchula to wasn't Lake Wales, it was Avon Park. And it was a poker run. You fly there and back, and on the way back, it got really windy and bumpy, and I took a collapse and just couldn't make any headway. But I finally made it back. The storms were coming in. That was my scariest flight. It was definitely probably only my 10th flight out of training. So other than that, I haven't had any problems. Just watching other people, watching Jason barrel roll into the ground. Oh, I said his name, but yeah. Hi, Jason.
Well, I'm glad he's all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's okay. He's a good guy. He's okay.
All right. We'll do a quick spinning wheel. And Walter, you got to give me your address, dude. And people were asking for your social media. Are you on anything else besides YouTube?
Instagram.
What are you on? What can we find you at Instagram?
It's don't kale my vibe. It's don't_kale, like the leafy green, _my vibe. And then, Dad, are you just J Biss?
Yeah, Jerry Biss. You can find me.
I will bring up their YouTube real quick. Here's Jerry's. It's J.I., right? J.I. Biss.
That's
1, 2,
correct.
3. Yep.
That's correct.
And I got to go back out again. I probably didn't have to. Hold that thought. And here's KaLeigh's. KaLeigh Biss 3946 otherwise. And here's her Don't Kale My Vibe over here. Oh, now that your friend is back.
Who's my friend? Can you see him?
Hey yo.
No, we can't see you.
Oh.
Wait, you said you were going out there with a girl. Wait a minute.
Hey, I used to have long hair.
That's not the part that counts.
Chattanooga. Found a Chattanooga PPG person.
Yep.
Yep.
Nice. Well,
Yep,
take good
so-
care of her out there.
I will. I actually
Yes.
just secured us our campsite again, so.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
You guys both fly safe, okay?
Yeah, be
No
safe.
problem.
Yeah, everybody's saying busted.
That's my daughter. I know where you live.
Well, come down, fly with us.
I wasn't invited. She said she was going to get bread.
Oh my god.
Poor KaLeigh.
Better go home with a loaf of bread. That's for sure.
All right, so everybody that wants to get their name in the spinny names, Travis, get in there.
I didn't rig it, Travis. I did not rig it.
All right, here we go.
I'm always on Travis's side.
Okay, you guys can see that, right?
Yep.
17 entries.
So I see one the last time. Not this one on this show, but another one.
Here we go. Good luck.
Is that it?
Yeah, I'll win.
Oh, Nightbot one. Yay.
Spin again.
Yay, Nightbot.
Ah, I won.
Oh.
2 feet and a heartbeat. All right, dude.
All right.
Aaron, congrats. If
Congratulations.
I've got your address in New York or not. So send me that on Facebook Messenger and we'll send something out. Now Walter's saying rig too.
Walter. Don't start, Walter.
All right, you two, thank you so much for joining us.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
If you, I know KaLeigh probably doesn't want to stick around, but if anybody wants to stick around for a few minutes and you want to join us in an after show, you guys are more than welcome. I'll put the invite in here right now. Just remember to sign in using Google Chrome or Firefox or Foxfire, whatever it is.
Do I get
Under
to stick around
StreamYard.
and embarrass her more?
Sure.
Yes. Now I can tell all the
I think
stories.
Come on in and hear the stories, everyone. So,
I think I will be
Oh.
setting up a campsite. So
yeah, you can go
Dad,
and
you
set
can
up because
embarrass
it looks
me.
dark.
I would never embarrass
Yeah.
you.
I'll make sure Dad
Oh, yeah.
behaves. And next week we have one of our guests that was in the chat, Ed Brinkman. He's a PPG pilot, and he's also a scuba diver. And I saw his scuba diving, and that's what made me beg him to come on the show. I want him to talk about that. So we'll have a little something different next week too. So
Nice.
yeah. So we could all use a little something different every once in a while. And so Ed's gonna share his scuba diving adventures with us. So guys, stick around if you want. Otherwise, see you next week. Fly
Night,
safe.
everybody.
Be safe, everyone.
Thank
Good night.
you.